So I have a sign, I put sign on my door back then when I decide I will not close my business, that I am constitutionally complying business and I do not follow government orders, distancing and masking. Your health is your responsibility. You in charge of your body and mind. So I left to the people to decide if they wanted to participate to come to my business establishment. If they don't feel safety, they don't have to come. But the one who wants to come, who are my family, because those people, they are people that engage and talk and eat. Some of them, they don't even cook because they are older people, so they wait for this warm meal to be able to eat so they can have some nutrition and energy. And that's what I did.
Americans are capable of achieving extraordinary things when they have the freedom and opportunity to do so. This is American Potential.
Welcome to the American Potential Podcast. I'm your host, David Fromm. Now, I'm a bit of a history nerd, but even I think learning history from textbooks can really feel a bit dry. However, hearing someone's personal story who lived through a historical event really brings it to life. So on the podcast, we previously shared the story of someone who lived through the Solidarity movement in Poland. And today, we're hearing from someone else who lived through it. Growing up under communism, she saw firsthand how it left people with so little. Empty shelves, long lines, and really barely enough to get by. But worse than that, it stripped people of their basic freedoms. She eventually made her way to America and opened a restaurant, building a new life and living out her version of the American dream. Until 2020, when everything changed. Her state's governor issued sweeping executive orders during COVID that threatened the very constitutional rights she had come to this country to embrace. I want to welcome to the podcast Marlena Pavlos-Hackney to share her story. Marlena, welcome. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, and God bless you all.
Oh, thanks. So, hey, let's start out with, what was it like growing up in Poland?
Well, I was a happy child like everybody else. Our country struggled because it was run by communist regime. We were under Russian dictatorship, like all the East Blocks. But when you're a kid, you don't know what's going on, kind of. But I was born in Gdańsk, where the Solidarity movement took place, and I'm grateful for that I was born in this place. I was 15 when this movement happened. Until then, I was living with my mom, my dad, my grandparents. My father, he was electrician working in a hospital, and my mom, she worked in a shipyard where the Solidarity movement took place. She was a chef there, working for 35 years, cooking goods for all these people who work in a shipyard. And as you know, in Poland back then, people will eat in businesses. I mean, the places where they work for, they have a cafeteria, which they will pay monthly fee, and they will able have meal during the daytime. And my mom, she works there. But me as a kid, I have to help my parents. My mom, she's got government job. My father's got government job. Besides that, they also have small little house with small land, and they will grow chickens and pigs and vegetables that we will go to flea market and will sell those goods, or my father will sell to all the doctors in a hospital because, we have shortages. When we have communism in Poland, we facing economic crisis, and the government implement a system to manage the distributions of essential goods to the shortage that we had. So people were able to get stamp, but not food stamp that you get free. You still have to pay for those goods, but you will be able only get 1 kilo of sugar, 1 kilo of flour, half a kilo of rice, 1 bottle of vodka, 2 bars of soap, So that wasn't enough. And the meat, you only get 1 kilo per person for the whole month. And even so, we have those cards. We still were unable to go and buy it because they don't have. So people will wait in a line like 12 hours.
Oh my.
Only, go nighttime and wait next day when they open up to be able, maybe they're going to deliver it to the store and they're going to be able to buy the meat or whatever essential stuff they need. So people really struggle. So we also have a black market, which people, they will sell the goods some other places, but then you have to pay double. You will go to any store and the shelves will be empty. Electronic store, clothing store. And if you're able that you in the store and they have those goods, you will buy. You do need or you don't need. But then will people trade? I have a coffee, I have a blanket. So they will exchange so we can be able to live and survive. Also, majority of Polish people, they will live like in this community apartment buildings, which they are owned by the government and a small area of living area. And you have like 2-3 families living in such a difficulty environmental because you cannot live like this, but people will live. People will cook cheap meals just to fly by and survive. So it was very hard to be able and live in Poland. So I'm grateful and thankful that my parents were capable to work, and besides, they have this ethics work that they want to do better, and they will work besides the government job, subsidize more so we can have more. And my father will have pigs he raise, and he will then, have the butcher come and chop around so we have some extra meat, and we also will sell so we can have some more extra money. And they sent me to school. Schooling in Poland was free. I went grammar school, high school, and college. Back then, we had a mandatory language, which was Russian. Everybody have, besides Polish language, we have Russian language going through high school and college. And this was mandatory. So we was living strict under communist regime. And because they try to fix, the pricing. They try to, do this thing for the country, but also they have this pricing fixing, which the prices will go up like 200%, 300%, 400%. And people were unable to buy goods. So we had a really difficult time back then. And also the government, they don't want us like to get together. They want us to follow this dictator government communist regime. So what happened, we will have only like 2 channels. TV, they will play like from 5 to 10, and they will just show you propaganda, whatever they feel is right to buy it. But Polish people were smart. We will get together, and they create the Solidarity movement, which happened in 1980 when Lech Wałęsa, he's the leader, he approached and bring people together, and they were able to negotiate with the government that we have, which was communist government, that they will be able to trade independently goods not dictated by the communist regime. And then also demand, better health, better pay, and so many other things that they fought for. And I'm so happy that Polish people stick together and uprise and follow the lead. And this was incredible because this happened on August 31st, 1980, when we have this Russian tanks and military. They wanted to go and they want to destroy like they always did. Me as a child, I remember we will have a gathering someplace with many people, and here comes ZOMO. This was one of the government organizations that they will come and they will beat you up with sticks or throw water on everybody all gas, and they will arrest people because this was forbidden, that we will get together and we will try to fight for freedom, coach or educate somebody else. People, wake up. Look what's going on in this country. And people were fighting. So many people die. So many people has been arrested. So many preachers, the same thing. They went to prison because they were preaching and fighting for freedom, for we the people, for better life and justice. So I'm so grateful.
Were any of your family members involved in the solidarity movement, since you're right
Yes.
there and your mom worked at the shipyard?
My mom, when this happened, she was there. They were on strike for 2 weeks. She didn't come home. My father also. They all took a leave. So me and my sister, we stay with my grandparents and just try to survive and follow and stay safe. But yes, so many people that they went on strike, which is the whole Poland, which I'm so grateful because we are the country to bring the freedom to the rest of the East Bloc that they follow, Czechoslovakia, East Germany, and even Russia, Gorbachev, he understood that he don't have no basis because we the people, if we don't gonna work, if we don't gonna comply with the rules and regulation and communist regime, we have the power. But we the people, we have to stick together because we people, we have the right to live happy, healthy, free life, not run by government and government agenda.
Well, I don't. Some people will remember who are my age or older, but I certainly remember. This was the beginning of the eventual fall of the Iron Curtain and of the Soviet Union. And I always think it's amazing. I've been to Poland a few times, generally in the southern part, and I've loved the Polish people. I think I shared with you, living in the Chicagoland area. There's tons of Polish people with the same story as you, like coming here, first generation Americans. And I just love the Polish people, and they did such a service for the world. Right. And I kind of think back, think of the 80s and you look at the fall of the Soviet Union and the end of the Cold War. And, you look at the Mount Rushmore, who are the people, Ronald Reagan, Margaret Thatcher, Gorbachev certainly was involved. But then there's two Poles. St. Pope John Paul II and Lech Walesa. They were really, Poland's the only country with two people who kind of really sparked that in different ways. But I just think it's such a testament to the spirit of the Polish people and the sacrifices they made Poland throughout the 20th century dealt with so much bad stuff. The Nazis and the Eastern Bloc realities and Soviets, and then to have the spirit to rise up and say, no, we want freedom, and to have it, really bring down the Iron Curtain is just amazing. So I hope you're proud to be Polish. I guess that's it.
Yes, I am. I am so grateful to all my previous people who bring this Polish people. We work hard. We are people with values. And God-loving.
Totally true. Totally true. All right, so let's fast forward. You eventually left Poland. So when did you leave Poland and come to America?
I left Poland in 1983. I didn't tell my parents or my sister because I don't want to put them on the spot. And it's not like you can leave Poland back then. Back then, every citizen have to go and ask the government for the okay to give them passport, just to give you passport, and then you get visa, whatever you want to go. But you have to get the okay from the government that he will let you, and they will check your backgrounds to see if you're educated, if you have some assets. If you're really poor, they will not give you the passport, and they say, sorry, we don't allow you to leave the country. So they really, dictate and decide who was able to leave or not. So the reason I left was 30 people. We went on vacation to Greece. So I request, the passport and the visa, and the government give me, which I was grateful and thankful. The same time, I didn't tell my parents about my plans because I don't want to put them on the spots, and I don't want to create some kind of a trauma because that's what I decide to do. I always admire Western, prosperity and style of life. So in my childhood, I always have American dream. When this happened and I decided to leave, I wasn't sure when I'm going to wind up, because people will go to Australia, America, Canada. But to go there, you have to go through this loophole, which back then they have in Greece and in Italy, like Red Cross camp that you can go, and they will help you and navigate. You will go and learn English. You will go for interviews. They will check your backgrounds, and then you will kind of wait for the sponsorship where you're gonna get. So the people I went with, I have 11 people left, but with some more close. So the one friend of mine, she and her daughter wind up in Australia. Another couple, husband and wife and the daughter, they wind up in Canada. And me, lucky, which I'm so grateful, thank you God, I'm in America. But took me 5 years before I was able to come to US. And I have to support myself, and I have to work, and was great experience. And in 1988, I came to Chicago. I lived there 11 years, worked 2 jobs, going again, try to get better in English, because when I was in Poland, I had a Russian and French in high school and college, so it wasn't English. So I have to learn, on my English, and I was going to school. So then I started working in a restaurant. I was hostess. After hostessing job, I get another job, waitressing job in another restaurant. I worked there like 10 years. And then before I moved to Michigan, I went and I get my real estate license. So I was selling real estate for a few years, and I keep my license. And then I came and found the business here in Holland, Michigan, on 909 Lincoln Avenue. And the deal was great. I was able to put money down, try to get small business administration loan, which I have a little difficult time. But the people who sold me the business, they were patient and worked with me. I was able to get the loan and move forward and start my American dream, which was so great.
Yeah. So what were your first thoughts when you came to America?
I love it. I love the people. I love the country. I was really homesick because of my English barrier language. So when you don't speak good enough English, you have these difficulties, insecurity. But God give you brain and body to use wisely. So I know slowly and surely I get this job, I get better job, my English is going to become better, and life is going to be lovely. But the most of all, you have this opportunity. Here, people in America, they can work and they can achieve so many things. And it's great country, because in my country, I have to work like 1 month to buy brand name jeans. And here, wow, you work 1 week and look what you can buy. You can even buy car if you work, maybe not the best, but you can have a car. In my country, only the rich people able to have a car and good life and so on. We have really hard time and live under poverty level in my country. Here, sometimes I'm upset when I hear people who live on the welfare and they say, wow, we live under poverty level. And I told these people, you gotta be grateful and thankful to God that you got what you got. What you have is like people in Poland, they are millionaires, and you don't have to do nothing, and you get all this free stuff and life and housing. I mean, it's no other country like America. So be grateful. And I pray to God that everybody will get what they have coming and bless them all. I'm not criticize nobody, but we have the right to choose the life we wanted. And if we like to work and produce good, I don't want the government stop us and tell us, no, we're in the control. You cannot control. You cannot produce good because we don't want you to have what you have. Or take your asset away because you're unable to pay property taxes and so many other stuff which you have to pay so the government can have a job, and they have to remember that they work for us, we don't work for them, and should do anything what is in them hand to make the whole society be able to live safety and happy life.
So you come from Chicago, you settle in Holland, Michigan, and you buy a restaurant. Tell me a little bit about your restaurant.
I bought my restaurant in 2000, was September. Is American food, is pizza, is breakfast, in lunch. I have a large menu. I have desserts, homemade muffins, sausage gravy, chili, chicken rice, broccoli cheese, and so many different sandwiches and omelets and pizzas. And I followed the same recipe, just like the people who sold me the business. When I bought this business, the name of the business was Salad Bowl. And this was very well-known place because nothing was around. So even when I bought this business, we have so many different industry like car and a Lifesaver and so many businesses that people will go out and eat, and I will be busy from 5 a.m. to 10 p.m. and the business was booming and great. But then slowly we have all those franchise coming north of town, start building one after another. And, people go experience different things, relocate, and my business will go a little bit less busy than early on. But 2015, I changed the name and I changed my operation. I used to work before from 5 a.m. to 10, but then I renamed my place to Marlena's Bistro and Pizzeria from the Salad Bowl name. And I changed my hours. I changed for breakfast and lunch. So I'm open Tuesday through Sunday from 5:30 a.m. to 2 p.m. I'm closed on Mondays, but I have my people who support me, which I'm so grateful and thankful. Things are different, especially after the COVID. So many people get divided because of the political arena and party, and things are a little bit different than was before. But overall, I'm so happy and grateful and thankful that I am a business owner for 25 years. Life is good. God bless me, and I'm happy.
You should be so proud of that. That's fabulous. There's so many people, especially who start restaurants, who they can't say they're able to stay open for 5 years. So that's a real testament. So you mentioned COVID. So let's talk about 2020. What were your first thoughts when you first heard about COVID?
When this happened, the first time was the beginning of 2020, I think March. I followed like everybody else. I closed my business. I was kind of wonder what's going on. In my mind, I say, this cannot be real because in my opinion, I understand we have some sicknesses coming, but every human being is responsible for his own health. So sometimes we get sick. It's like cold. You gotta build your immune system, get rest, get right medication, vitamin C, get right nutrition, and, it will be okay. But I followed the rules. Everything was handy-dandy. Then when things go further, then we get the green light from government Whitmer, which she says she's going to allow people to reopen slowly. She says supposed to be, I think, in May sometimes, then she say June, then she postponed. So we have to wait until she give us the green light and we reopen. But then they start new restrictions like you have to wear mask, you have to take people's phone number, you have to do distancing and so on. So I did kind of follow what I could at the moment, but also I don't want to be like policemen. So under HIPAA and for amendment, I don't have the rights to ask people about them health or ask them to give me phone number because that's Privacy Act. they are protected. So I'll decide that is wrong. So when the second time they decide to close the businesses, I decide I will not comply to government orders. I care for safety of my customers. I follow all the healthy codes and rules and regulations. That's my priority, to keep everybody safe. But when it comes to the government orders, masking, distancing, I don't want to be Nazis. So I have a sign. I put sign on my door back then when I decide I will not close my business, that I am constitutionally complying business, and I do not follow government orders, distancing and masking. Your health is your responsibility. You in charge of your body and mind. So I left to the people to decide if they wanted to participate to come to my business establishment. If they don't feel safety, they don't have to come. But the one who wants to come, who are my family, because those people, there are people that engage and talk and eat. Some of them, they don't even cook because they are older people. So they wait for this warm meal to be able to eat so they can have some nutrition and energy. And that's what I did.
Well, we're gonna go dive on another episode. We're gonna dive a little more in deep as to what you've gone through and how you've, really stood up what we'd consider to be your constitutional rights in relation to this. So many of us went through this, during the lockdown. So many jobs were destroyed, livelihoods were destroyed. So many of us were, really experienced something that we didn't think that we would have experienced. I think a lot of us thought it seemed more like communist Poland back in the day than it did than what we thought America would look like. So let's pause here, and we're gonna come back. We're gonna leave Marlena's story here and pick it up on our next episode. And some of you may have actually heard the next part of her story because it made headlines. It's actually been featured on other podcasts, and even a documentary was made about it. So we're gonna actually have her lawyer on with us because she ended up getting arrested. And she's now fighting for not only her constitutional rights, but for our rights and of others in her state. So Marlena, we're going to come back to you. I really appreciate you sharing your story of growing up in Poland and the solidarity movement and the incredible things that you saw happen, and then your story when you came to America, and how you've really achieved the American dream, and now you're struggling to keep the American dream. So thanks for this episode. We're going to be right back with in another episode with Marlena. Folks, if you like this episode and would like to stay connected with the podcast, be sure to like and subscribe to our channel, as well as following us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. And always remember, liberty and freedom are easily taken for granted. Don't take it for granted. Go out there and defend freedom and liberty. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you on the next episode.
Thank you for listening to American Potential. You may listen to more stories from Americans working every day to expand freedom and opportunity in their communities by visiting AmericanPotential.com.